Have you ever wanted to create your own adventure and publish a little scene, but you don't really know where to start? I get that. Making a scene and publishing your own tabletop role-playing adventures is amazing. But there are some pretty hefty price tags on some of the programs that are being used for text editing and map creation and so on. So today I will show you how to make your very own TTRPG Zine with zero budget. At the very beginning, you should think about what kind of adventure you want to write in the first place. For this video I decided to go with a nice simple dungeon crawl, just some classic monsters, traps, puzzles, and with this base idea in mind I started making a map in DungeonScrawl. I like DungeonScrawl a lot because it is easy to use, has many different tools for dungeon design and decoration. It also tells you the length and width of your map and tiles, so you can easily import it into Roll20 if you want to use your map online. And if you set the background color to white, then it will be removed during export, which is very handy. The only downside with DS is that you have to pay for it if you want to use your map commercially, so keep that in mind if you intend on selling your maps. One way around this is to draw your own map, for example in Krita, or make a pixel art map in Aseprite or Piskel. Now Aseprite isn't free, but there are many free alternatives to it. I highly recommend DungeonNight Games RPG Map Maker 2. It's an amazing free software which you can use in your browser or download it on Windows. Should you ever get stuck with your design or the general idea of your adventure, you can always seek inspiration from existing dungeon maps or from other creators. And if you're running D&D 5e, or you have the Dungeon Master Guidebook, then you can check out some example dungeons in that book starting at page 310. The DMG also has some very solid dungeon generators beginning at page 290. And if you don't have the book, then just Google for the PDF. Personally, I also really like the one-page dungeon generator by Watabou. It gives you a nice variety of room layouts, some text telling you what the general gist of the dungeon is, and it also gives you a nice title for your dungeon as inspiration. It's very cool, and I will link it in the description together with all the other programs I mentioned in this video. If you don't want to do any of that, you can also just start randomly drawing rooms until you have a layout that you like. This is super fun, and it's what I did for this dungeon. So after I have my layout figured out, I think about the content of each room in a very rough way. So this is a treasure room, this is an encounter room, this room is trap, and so on. To give myself a general idea of what the dungeon will play like when I'm done. Next I figure out the visual details of the dungeon. What material is it built out of? Is it decrepit? Is it well maintained? The Dunjon dungeon generator can help you with this. It gives you descriptions for every hallway in the room it randomly generates. This is a very nice piece of inspiration. So you can just pick and choose some examples you like from the generator. I wanted my dungeon to be buried underneath some desert ruins, so I described it with vines growing out of the cracked sandstone and piles of sand lying in the corner of the rooms and on the stairs. Next I wrote down some short notes on every room. For example, room 2 was going to be an encounter room. I thought about what kind of encounters are going to be. I ended up with dead monsters like strewn across the room. Bugbears are sitting in the corner. Just keep it simple. And then I wrote all the text for the rooms in detail and thought way too long about the kind of puzzle I wanted to put into room 4. And that is pretty much it for the writing phase. Now comes editing. I use Canva for text editing and PDF printing. It's an easy to use and free browser application. You can pay for it if you want to unlock different assets like pictures, graphics and more, but you don't have to. A lot of this stuff is just free to use, so go ahead, have fun with it. Affinity Publisher is another program for editing that really caught my eye. And if you want to make a very professional looking scene with the intent to sell it or ship it out, then this might be the way to go. It's a one-time purchase, so there are no annoying subscriptions, but this video is about making a scene with zero budget. So let's continue with Canva. I pretty much just copy and paste all the text from my OpenOffice document into Canva. OpenOffice is kind of like a free version of Microsoft Office, and adjust the font and size of the text, move the text box around. It's pretty fast and simple once you get a hang on how Canva works. If you ever struggle with the layout or the design of your scene, you can look at examples from other creators. I personally really like JP Kuwart and Nate Tram, or just just pick any other creator who inspires you. Don't be ashamed to get references. That's how we learn, and eventually you will be able to develop your own style. Canva also has some very pretty design templates that you can use for your scene, and if you want to make your own illustrations, I would recommend using Krita. It's a really cool software for creating digital artworks that I have been using for years to draw and illustrate. After everything is in place and you are satisfied with the look of your scene, you are pretty much done. Now all that is left to do is print it to PDF or print it out on paper if you want to. I like to use 130 gram construction paper for my printing. It's quite cheap and it feels very good to hold in your hands. And this is basically the whole process that I went through to create the scene right here. And I hope that you're able to use all these tools and tips to make your very own TTRPG zine. If you need help with something or you have a question, just write in the comments. I am very excited to see what you will make. I'm AeroTheLich. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.